Thank you, Deb. And it is awesome that we have such great ability to have the helicopters for, quick access and to get people where they need to go. Okay, our next speaker is going to be Dr. Holly, who is the medical director for the emergency department at Westfield Hospital.
If I don't have notes, I'll talk for 2 hours, so you want to make sure that I have these. So, I've had the opportunity to come to a lot of different things here at the Chautauqua Suites, and I will say without a doubt, this is absolutely the nicest one I've been to. So, first of all, I'd like to thank everybody at Chautauqua Suites that had anything to do with this. I think this is awesome. Second of all, and even more importantly, I'd like to say a thank you to everybody that's sitting out here in this room, because without all of you and without all of you guys volunteering to do the stuff that you guys do, this whole thing wouldn't even have happened. So again, I will say thank you to every one of you guys. Thank you very much for that. You can give yourself a big hand for this. It's really awesome. And one of the greatest things that I had opportunity to do, and I only got to do it for a few years, you guys get to do it all the time, was do pre-hospital care. And it's an awesome experience. It's one of those things that people go into for a lot of different reasons. I think a lot of us have felt when we do this that we could actually make a difference. I can tell you that every time you guys go out on a call, you make a real difference. You guys have the hard work. My job's easy. When you guys roll into the ER, you guys have already told us what's going on pretty much. We just have to patch everything together and get it all put together. You guys have all the hard jobs to do. So I really thank you for all of that. And you guys should not downgrade the importance of what you do, because it really is a vital job. You guys actually make the life and death differences on what really happens in patient care, because you guys are the first people that are laying eyes on somebody. You guys are the first people that are laying hands on somebody. You're initiating the care, and that goes from everything from a BLS crew all the way up to the ALS stuff. You guys are making the big differences that truly are the real life and death things that happen with patients, and our county really has an awesome thanks to you guys. I'll just go briefly. Janet wanted me just to kind of give a brief update on what's going on at Westfield Hospital, so I'll just take a couple seconds to talk about that. I think most of you are aware that in July 1st of last year, the Burger Commission, it has a lot of other names that I won't say because some of them aren't really as nice as the Burger Commission, but affected a whole bunch of different hospitals in the state, and unfortunately one of ours was the Westfield Hospital that was affected. While technically we're still a fully licensed hospital, we were downgraded from what our licensure was previously at 32 beds down to 4 acute care beds currently. Even though we're still a fully licensed hospital, the state has put very significant restrictions on what we can do with those beds and what we can keep, and unfortunately for how long we can keep people at the hospital. So there's been a lot of stuff that's been going on as far as the inpatient arena. Interestingly, and I think a lot of it has to do with you guys and the confidence that you've had over the years with the Westfield Hospital, and I thank you all for that. Our emergency department volumes have actually gone up since all this happened. I think one of the big concerns that everybody in the hospital, and for sure, and I think there was a lot of community apprehension, was with the inability to keep as many people in the hospital. Would people still use the hospital? I had just done a little gestalt off the top of my head number, and it looked like we were up about 3%, but when I actually did the numbers, in the last 3 months, we've been average increase in volumes over last year at the same time, 10% in our emergency department. So not only you guys still have the confidence in us as a hospital, but the community has the confidence in us as a hospital to still provide that excellent quality of care, making the decisions at that point in time whether to keep somebody at the hospital, send them home, or move them on to a higher level of care. So that's been a really neat thing that's been going on. A couple things that have happened that are frustrating for us, and just so you guys are aware too, because it may impact on how you do your stuff. One of the big things that the Burger Commission disallowed at hospital is obstetrical care. And while the whole county's number of pregnant people has been dropping some, the number of deliveries at Westfield was dropping at about half the county's rate. So proportionally, more people in the county were choosing to select Westfield Hospital for their obstetrical care, which is kind of a neat thing. As of January 1st of last year, that was a non-issue. So that's one thing that we have not been able to do And that's a big frustration for us, and I'm sure for you guys, for people that you're seeing in the community. The other thing that the Burger Commission has disallowed at all is any type of emergent surgical things. Now you're going to say, well, that's stupid because we're still an acute care hospital. Everything about the Burger Commission, block this part off, is stupid. Can't help it, but just as a little plug, Westfield Hospital is the second lowest cost per patient care hospital in the entire state, but they downsize it to save money. Go figure that one. Sorry. I had to say it. But the lack of emergent surgical cases at the hospital, because there's not 24/7 on-call coverage anymore, has been a little bit of a inconvenience for some folks. They're still getting assessed quickly and being transferred to the higher level of care quickly. So that's a good thing. It's a little bit of an inconvenience for patients, and again, more of a nuisance than anything else. Two things that I'd just like to talk about very quickly that's going to directly impact you guys and your deliverance of the pre-hospital care. I'd just like to take 2 seconds to talk about it. One is trauma care. There's a whole bunch of really bizarro federal regulations that come into play once somebody enters the emergency department doors. And there's a lot of steps that you have to go through to do stuff there. What I would encourage you to do is always make your decision as to what the best care for the patient. If the patient needs stabilization and they need stabilization in the hospital, you guys get them to the hospital as soon as they can. If there are questions about the acuity of care, and you guys all have the ATLS pre-hospital protocols for what emergent transport directly from the scene to a tertiary trauma center are, I'd encourage you to follow those too. What we all want to do and why we're all here today is because we want to take care of patients. And we all do it in different scenarios, but that's what we all want to do. And we want to deliver that care the best, most efficient, quickest way that we can. If you guys are looking at somebody and they meet all the criteria, they've got encroachment in the passenger compartment, there's been a death or ejection, you guys know all these things. If there's been that kind of stuff, those are the people that need to go directly to the trauma center. And I know I'm preaching to the choir on this stuff. What we don't want to do is bog them down for an hour and a half at the hospital once they get there. Like I said, there's a bunch of federal regulations that we have to follow, so we're actually a hindrance to care at that point in time, and it's really frustrating. We don't want to do that. We want to do the right thing for patients. So if you got somebody that's really bad, get them from the scene, get them to the trauma center, if it's possible. I mean, we're still going to take care of people. We're still going to transfer a lot of people, and that's not a problem at all. The sticky widget I've already kind of alluded to is going to be the obstetrical care. Fortunately, it hasn't happened yet, but there is going to be a time at some point that somebody's going to want to deliver at Westfield Hospital, even though they know that they can't deliver at Westfield Hospital anymore. Those people are probably going to not have transportation arrangements, so they're going to call you guys. So all you guys get ready for your checking your cervix and see how far it's dilated and all that kind of stuff. It's like, everybody's panicking already. People are seeking their prenatal care with doctors that are already being accessed at other hospitals. If you're in an area where if you're equidistant from Westfield and the hospital that they're going to, patient preference hopefully will dictate that they want to go to the place, and hopefully it's not a significantly longer transport time. If you got somebody that's saying the baby's coming, the Westfield's the closest place, bring to Westfield, let us deal with it. But if there's an option to get the people to where their regular doctor is, and it's not going to put any unnecessary burden on the patient, and this is a realistic issue too, it's not going to put too much of a strain on you guys because you want to do the right thing for the patients too, get them to that tertiary care center or to that obstetrical hospital. But we're still there at Westfield, and again, I'd like to really thank you guys for your support. Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for the job that you do, and I just encourage you all to continue doing it. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Holly. Our last speaker tonight is going to be Noel Gutman. He's kind of in charge and been coordinating the tech rescue team of the Chautauqua County. And he's got a they've been through a lot of training, and